Hello there and welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're here for the first time, to Leftover Venison. Today we're going to talk Etsy. You may recall, if you caught the last video, we were talking about setting up an Etsy account. In that video, I talked the basics. I gave an overview of our shop and what we do, without giving away too much details. I mean, I didn't give away our shop name or anything like that. But if you want to watch that video, check it out. I'll link it in the description. I'll put a link up in the corner here in the video, if I remember. Okay, so Etsy, selling on Etsy. What's the deal? What do you need to know to sell on Etsy? So the first thing you need, obviously, is a product to sell. Now, we're on the Etsy page here. These people are selling personalised luxury soft top pens, whatever that might be. But yeah, they've found a little niche in the market and they're selling them for $2.99. But anyway, so you can sell all sorts of stuff on Etsy. Personally, we sell greetings cards. That's where my kind of area of expertise is, I would say, if I can call it that. So kind of low value, high volume, if that makes sense. So we sell quite a lot of stuff, but like not expensive things. I know some people on Etsy sell things for thousands of pounds, pieces of artwork and furniture, stuff like that. But I'm going to focus on kind of the lower price. But it's the same thing, really. It's just at a lower value that we do. But everything that I'm saying here will apply to any sale on Etsy. So the first thing you have to do, obviously, is have a product to sell. That goes without saying. And I'm going to work on the assumption that you're selling a physical product rather than like a download or the like. It's a physical product that this video is going to be about. There's going to be no more waffling here. We're going to get into it. What do you need to know? A lot of people don't know what they're getting into with Etsy. They just haven't got a clue. They haven't looked into this at all. I'm a member of lots of seller forums on Facebook and things like that. I try to help out new people where I can, because it can be daunting and it can be difficult to get going on Etsy. But anyway, the first thing you need to know is the listing fees. So let's talk listing fees. Every single item you list on Etsy will cost you 16 pence plus VAT, which is 20%, of course. That works out at 19 pence total. So every single item you list for 90, it will cost you 19 pence. That's to start with. That's no questions asked. That's what it is. It's 19 pence. You're paying that to Etsy when you list something. Let's say you want to list something that has, like I was saying, we sell cards. So I might want to sell a card. Say we sell a birthday card, and I want to have 20 of those available on one listing. You would pay the 19 pence listing fee. But then when one sells, your quantity would be reduced to 19, and you'll pay another listing fee. And then if you sell another one, the quantity will reduce to 18, and you will sell another. You'll be charged another listing fee. So every time an item sells from a multi-listing, you will be charged that fee. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't, pop it in the comments and I'm happy to clarify that. But yeah, so say if you're selling cards or anything like that where you want to have more items, like let's say this luxury pen here, they haven't just got one listed, they've got lots listed for this list. And I'm just using this as a total example. It's just literally the first thing I come up on here. So they will sell one of these for their $2.99, and that will then reduce their available quantity by 1, and they'll be charged a fee for a listing fee. Every time one sells, you'll be charged that. On top of this, you will get your sales fees. Okay, so the sales fees, I'm going to be quite frank with them. It sounds expensive, and it is reasonably expensive. It's annoying, and it does eat into your profits. But I mean, I do understand Etsy have to make money. But let's get into them. Let's get into the sales fees. Okay. So every single item you sell on Etsy, you will be charged 6.5% of the total value, including postage. All these numbers I'm saying here, so the 6.5%, will also have VAT added to them. So every sale, you're going to be charged 6.5%. Then you're going to be charged 4% plus 20 pence as a transaction fee, again on the total. So that's when your payments are processed through Etsy. They will take their share like the mafia takes their chunk of flesh, so they'll take that. So plus 20% VAT on top of that. As well as that, you will be charged a regulatory operating fee, which is currently 0.25% of the total sales value plus 20% VAT. I know there's a lot of percentages going on. Fees are never easy to explain, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So let's do the overview here. You're going to be charged 6.5% of the total value. You're going to be charged 4% plus 20 pence for the transaction fee. You're going to be charged a regulatory operating fee of 0.25%. On top of that, on all of that, you're going to be charged 20% VAT as standard in the UK. So what are these fees? The sales fee is it's literally Etsy taking their chunk. The transaction fee is literally Etsy taking their chunk. And the regulatory operating fee is something they've made up because they say doing business in the UK is expensive. So they're going to take a bit extra from you because they can. So that's how Etsy works. And this is the basic structure of their fees. This will apply to every single thing you sell in the UK on Etsy. All of these fees apply to the UK. I don't know how it is in other countries. This is UK fees, okay? If you want to know about the US, you'll have to find someone from the US who's doing a video. I'm sure there's millions on here. I'm sure of it. But anyway, that's what it is, okay? So they're going to take that. Let's take an overview of what that looks like in real life. Okay then, so here is an example in real life from a sale that happened today. It's the 10th of May today, and here's the sale from the 10th of May. Let's take a look at this bottom section here, the very bottom of the screen, where we can see we've been charged, where our balance starts at £97.05. We made a sale this morning of £5.49. That was a £3.99 card plus £1.50 postage. Okay, so we've been charged the processing fee, 4% of the order, plus 20 pence. That was 42 pence in total. As you can see, it's been deducted as it goes. I think it's fairly straightforward. Then we had the transaction fee on the postage, which again was 6.5%. That worked out at 10 pence. The transaction fee on our card was 6.5%, 26 pence. Then we were charged their made-up regulatory operating fee, 0.25%, which is a penny. You know, it doesn't sound like much, but they all add up. All those pennies add up. And then here's all the VAT going on. So the VAT for the processing fee, 8 pence. VAT for shipping, 2 pence. And the transaction VAT as well, which was 5 pence. So from £97.05... we've gone to £101.60, which is £4.55. And that's not too bad, really. So in total, we paid, on a £5.49 order, we paid 94 pence to Etsy. We can live with that. That's not too bad, is it? That's okay. Etsy's got to eat as well. Mr. Etsy needs to eat. Okay, anyway, so that's the fees. I wanted to show this in real terms, in simple terms. I hope this is simple enough. I think Etsy take the mick a little bit with how they put this in. So like for the sale of one sale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 separate rows of bullshit. So basically, I think the way Etsy should do it is have the sale and then the fees as one. And then if you want to see the full fees, you should just have to click to expand. But this is what it looks like on your payments page. It's crazy, basically. And it's mental. So if you're selling quite a lot, I mean, I'm not saying like we don't sell millions, but we do sell somewhere in the region of between, I don't know, 25 and 75 orders per day, and keeping on top of what's actually going on is pretty crazy. But anyway, so this is not the only fees that Etsy may levy. They can also charge you advertising fees and off-site ad fees. Now, these are things that we'll get into in the next video. The next video is going to focus on advertising and how to work it properly on Etsy and how much they actually charge, which it's insane, really. So this is the basics of selling. This is the fees that you've got. But on top of this, you're also going to have other expenses, okay? So fairly obviously, you're going to have other expenses. Let's move on to the other expenses. So some other expenses to consider when selling on Etsy or anywhere online for that matter, if you're new to this. You may not have access to wholesale outlets. You may not know about things like that, which is fine. You don't need to be at a wholesaler to have good value for money. In fact, it's not always the cheapest to go to the wholesale outlet. So for example, an expense that lots of people overlook is the postage and packaging cost. I'm emphasizing the packaging here because people do think of postage. Yeah, I've got to pay postage to ship my item that I've sold. But the packaging cost is substantial. It eats into profits. So for example, we use hardback envelopes. We normally use A5 and A4 size envelopes. So here we are. This is Amazon. Like, I hate to tout Amazon, but you know, they do have some good offers on. Basically, they offer some almost wholesale prices, if I'm being honest. We use Amazon because it's quick, it's reliable, and it's cheap, to be honest. And I hate, like I say, I hate to tout Amazon. at all. But let's talk about this, okay? So this is a big one to consider. So yeah, your packaging, whether it's a box, whether it's in a hardback envelope, whether it's even just a standard envelope, that all costs money. And it needs to be factored in. Let's take a quick look at Amazon. So basically, the more you buy, as in quantity, the cheaper it's going to work out. Amazon has a very helpful thing here. Look, so this pack of envelopes, for example, there's 125 in this pack, and they're going to charge you £21.49 for that. That works out at 17 pence per unit, which doesn't sound too bad, especially not when you're looking at a smaller pack here. So this is a pack of 50, exact same item. I mean, it might be a different brand or something, but it's the same thing. It's an A5 hardback envelope. They're all going to do the same thing. It doesn't matter whether you're buying Postmaster or Arpan or Acar. Acar, coincidentally, they're the ones we do actually use Acar, but then they're okay. It makes no difference, really. Arpan is fine, Postmaster, all these things, it's all the same stuff, basically. But what you have to look at is the unit cost. So this is going to cost you 26 pence per envelope. So every envelope will cost you 26 pence if you bought this pack of 50. If you bought this one, it costs you 17 pence, which sounds all right. Ideally, you want to get that cost as low as possible. So we're looking around here, we're looking blah, 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 you know, where are the bargains? Where are the bargains? This is where the bargains are, okay? This, when you buy in bulk, $84.99 looks expensive, but you get 1,000. That's going to work out at a unit cost of like 8.5 pence, right? You can't really get it cheaper than that. We can't. We've been in business a long time. I cannot buy envelopes cheaper than this anywhere. And get them as quickly as this. I mean, I can get them for kind of the same price, but not with next day postage. Not at all. So $84.99, 1,000 envelopes. Yeah, it's an outlay, but you're going to save yourself money in the long run. So when you're starting out, look at the smaller packs. Maybe look at these. Look at the packs over here for the 17p. You know, see if you can stretch to the 21.49 and get yourself a pack of 125 at least. I know it's going to last you a while. And it keeps the cost lower than buying the smaller packs. But if you can, you buy in bulk like this. You buy 1,000 or 3,000, or whatever it is you want to buy. And often if you want to buy more than 1,000, you could actually contact this small business. You know, you find out who they are, contact them and say, look, how much would you charge me for 3,000 or 5,000 or whatever it is you want to buy? And they will quite happily often offer you a fair discount on that kind of cost if you're in a position to do that. If your business is up and running, I would hope you'd be able to do that. But like this video is kind of aimed at people who are just starting off. So yeah, maybe stay smaller if you have to. But again, I mean, you'd have to deliver tomorrow. It's quick delivery. You're not going to find these cheaper anywhere. So if you need to use hardback envelopes, which quite a lot of people will have to on Etsy selling kind of fragile things. But the same goes with boxes. You need to find the right size boxes that you want to ship your thing in and bubble wrap, all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff that's going to cost you money that people kind of forget to factor into their costs. You need to buy in bulk. That's like there's no other things that I could recommend more than that. Buying in bulk, you need a little bit of money behind you. And remember, it's that old adage, you've got to spend money to make money. It is so true. All right, so obviously we've got that. Then the next important thing is the material cost for your products. So again, like, I mean, we sell cards. I'm using that as an example. We buy our cards from a wholesaler, which is so much cheaper than buying them retail. So we buy like blank cards and then we make our own cards at home with our own printers and stuff like that. So that, again, and printers, it's another bit of equipment. You know, it's you got to pay for it. You got to maintain it. You got to buy ink. It's all expensive and you got to source the cheapest materials. But quality, you want good quality. It's a difficult thing, but it needs to be done like that. That's the way to do it. So you buy in bulk, even if you're just using Amazon. Like Amazon, you can get some real bargains on Amazon. I'm not advertising Amazon or anything like that. I mean, it's so easy. It is, and it can be so cheap. So like this, for example, I mean, the price difference is astronomical, really, when you're working on these kind of tight profit margins, you know, to be able to get something for $84.99 at 8.49 pence per unit rather than 17 pence per unit. That's substantial. That's half the cost of those envelopes. Yeah, and that's just one quick example of that. The next big thing, obviously, is the cost of postage, and that's where we're going to end this video on. So postage costs. What are you sending? That's the question. What are you sending? That's going to determine how you're going to ship it. Etsy requires you to have a tracked service if you sell for more than £10. Okay, a tracked service. That's an acceptance scan from the mail or whichever courier you're using and a delivery scan. Now, you don't have to put that on, But if you don't, you will not be covered by their seller protection. So a buyer can say they didn't receive it. Etsy will say, so let's say we sold £84.99 worth of stuff like this. If we sold this on Etsy, we would have to ship this fully tracked to be covered by Etsy's seller protection. If not, you're not covered by it. It's that simple. So it really works like that. So £10 or more, and you need to send it tracked to remain covered. If you don't, you're running a risk. Now, which courier you use is entirely up to you. We use Royal Mail for our things. We have a business account with Royal Mail. If you're just starting out, you can set up a business account with Royal Mail. You don't need to be like an established business, if you know what I'm saying. You don't need that. Anybody can set up a business account with Royal Mail, but you've got to ship 1,000 items per year. That sounds like a lot, but it's only 20 per week on average. If you think you're going to be doing that, and I hope you are thinking you're going to be doing that. So because if you're wanting to set up your own business on Etsy, I want you to be successful, and this is a good way to do it. Let's talk quickly about postage options. If you're going to use Royal Mail, I would highly recommend you go to Royal Mail, click and drop. Just stick that into Google and it will take you there. But I'll also put a link in the description of this video for click and drop. If you haven't already got an account, you should set one up. You can just set up a private account. You don't have to be a business or anything. And you'll get access to some services that aren't available in the post office. And you get some prices that are a little lower than at the post office. Alternatively, you can also buy your Royal Mail postage directly through Etsy, and you'll get the same prices as you do at click and drop. However, you don't get access to a couple of good services, those being particularly Tracked 24 and Tracked 48. They are reliable, fully tracked services that I would highly recommend if you're sending valuable items. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on postage because there's so much information out there for postage, and it depends hugely on what it is that you're selling. So for example, our items that we sell are mostly letters and large letters. We have a business account set up. You get discounts on that with the business account. We'll have a quick look at some costs for I'm going to use letters and large letters as a comparison, okay? So I'm just going to show you some of our stuff. So this is an example order I've got up here. This is using the standard click and drop. This is not a business account. This is just standard click and drop. So this is for a letter up to 100 grams. You can send a letter up to 100 grams in weight for this cost. I mean, that's the maximum weight for a letter. So a second class letter is going to cost you 75 pence to send if you don't have a business account. It's not that bad. 75p, but you've got to remember that this is also eating into your profits, of course. So 75 pence for second class, and first class is £1.10. It's gone over £1 for the first time ever since April. Okay, so £1.10 for that. You can see there's a whole bunch of services here. So you've got signed for and second class signed for, first class and second class signed for. Again, these are pricey-ish. £2.60 for a first class signed for letter and £2.25 for a second class signed for letter. These will count as tracked deliveries as long as Royal Mail remember to get a signature on delivery. That's handy to remember. Just to compare the prices for a business account, a basic business account. I mean, you can negotiate your rates a little with Royal Mail, with your business manager, okay? So prices can vary on a business account, but let's work on the basic business account rates. So a letter on account with Royal Mail, second class, will cost you 67 pence, saving you 8 pence. Again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you send a lot of stuff, then that's a lot of 8 pences to be saving if you're sending second class mail. I do recommend, we'll go into postage profiles in a future video, but on Etsy, but I recommend standard second class post and then offer upgrades for first class or whatever you want to offer for. That's what we do anyway. So the standard is always second class for us. And that on a basic business account with the BPL rate, that's one of the codes that they use, would cost you 67 pence instead of 75. And for first class mail, instead of £1.10, you're going to spend 99 pence. So you're going to save yourself 11 pence on that, which is not too bad. I mean, it's all right. You can live with it. Let's quickly switch this to a large letter, just to give you another example. So 115 for a second class large letter, 160 for a first class large letter. That's assuming it's 100 grams. I mean, Royal Mail has different weight categories, so the first one is up to 100 grams. Then anything over that, up to 250 grams. You're going into this next price bracket, 185, 225. This weight bracket goes to 250 grams. So if we're going to 251, you're going to see the price increase again. The next bracket goes to 500. So if we're going over 500, again, it goes up. There we are, new price reflected. And that goes up to a maximum of 750 grams. This is for the standard post. Like, this is the costs. I don't know why anybody in their right mind would use a 700, would send a large letter for £3.30 using standard first class, which doesn't come with any delivery confirmation or anything like that, when for the same price you can send it for tracked 24. There you are, £3.30, exactly the same price, £2.70 for the large letter. It is the exact same price, but you get full tracking. So this is a service that's only available through Click and Drop, and you have to send these via a customer service point or via a collection from Royal Mail, which at the moment costs you nothing. So if you book through this, you can have all your mail collected for free. So if you send a whole bunch, you can have Royal Mail come and knock on your door, and they'll come and pick all this stuff up for you and scan it. So I'm kind of going to have to leave the postage here because there's not really much else I can talk about, because the postage is very individual to whatever it is you're selling. But the basics to remember with postage is it's going to be cheaper with a business account. So if you can set up a business account, anybody can set up a business account as long as you send 1,000 items per year and can pass a basic credit check. That's it. So they'll give you an account, and you're going to get access to slightly cheaper postage. But like we've been saying all along, it all adds up. That all makes a difference. All those little bits of extra profit that you can squeeze out, I would say go for it. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are with the postage. I can't really add much more to the postage, because it's like I say, it depends on what you're selling. If you're selling parcels, it's the same thing really, but it's the same thing. It's cheaper on the account. It's as simple as that. It's cheaper on the account, and where possible, always use the tracked services. I mean, the tracked services are a little more expensive for parcels, but it's well worth that bit extra money if you're sending expensive items. So, for example, this parcel will cost us $3.45 to send tracked 48, or it will cost us $2.99 to send standard second class. Second class parcels and first class parcels, it's worth remembering, do come with a delivery scan if the postie remembers to do it. Hey, they don't always. Anyway, that's that. So I'm going to leave the postage there. If you have any specific questions on postage, pop it in the comments, and I'm happy to answer those. There's so much to cover with postage. It's not really possible to do in a short video. But like I say, we'll set up some delivery profiles in a coming video. And in future videos, we're going to look at advertising on Etsy. We're going to look at off-site ads. We're going to look at Etsy ads, things like that. And we're going to look at some listings. We'll do a little bit of critique on some listings, maybe. Show some good listings, some bad listings, some do's, some don'ts, things like that. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, if you found this video useful, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought of it. Come back for more if you want in the next part, which will be coming soon. These videos are coming a little slower than I'd anticipated, but I've been pretty busy. And I do this as a hobby, really. YouTube, it's just something to do. But anyway, I do hope you found it useful. If you did, like I say, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, come back for more if this kind of content. If this is the kind of content you're into, it'd be great to see more people joining the channel. And I'll catch you later. Have a great day, whatever you're doing.